pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Minutes for the last meeting. Also take minutes as well.
The golden egg here, man. The golden egg.
Yeah.
Now, take a look at, on that, page 3, paragraph 2, just to make sure you remember.
Do you think it's okay, Bill?
Yeah, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I would move we approve the minutes on Tuesday, June 10th as printed.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
It'll be off the bridge itself, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be counted.
Committee reports.
And you had about this on there.
You mean, committee reports?
The only thing I would report is that,
BG knows.
we think that we have made an offer to hire a new part-time CEO for Morris County Health Department. And, I haven't seen the signed contract, but from what I heard, that she was gonna accept it, so I'll know more. We have another meeting here in about a month. And then we do have, our action today, we will be revising the, interlocal agreement with NEKES and rescinding and passing a new resolution regarding that. Finally got everybody on the same page.
Matt, you have some first orders, so we got.
First one I have here is for $5,054.44. It's for, power divider, went out on the, older Sterling truck, I had to get it rebuilt. It's the midway forward. Second one is for a 55-gallon drum of engine oil for our John Deere grader, $814.51, it's a Heritage tractor.
Is that for the new, is that?
Yes.
Yes, that's specific, or?
What the deal was, we could either use the John Deere oil and change the oil every 500 hours, or we could use our oil and change it every 250 hours. And it's about the same price as what we're paying for our in-house oil, so I figured that was kind of a no-brainer.
I didn't know they had to do something with the warranty, it's all new grader.
Well, it has to be a certain spec, and then also, don't have to change it as often. I've got another one here, this is for, Foley's, it's $836.92. This is for our boom truck, we were having trouble getting it to run right, we couldn't figure it out, so we had to call, it's got a cat engine in it, we had to call Foley's, and ended up it was a valve in the lift pump was stuck. $651.84 for cylinder tires for 4 pickup truck tires.
That's what I was talking about earlier, I received, that was for engineering architects, so it'd be, less than that, that was their estimate, 78 to 86.
That's really light. And
Okay.
I thought I shared that, but maybe I didn't.
I haven't seen that. Looks familiar.
That was that first,
Mm-hmm.
estimate that Bartlett and West.
So you think for sure have to get proper descriptions, or, because I know we've done it before.
We can do that, we can label it for the center of, whatever the creek is.
Right, and just like each direction so far and how it's all going.
I think we,
It's not gonna be a lot, it's,
30 feet from the center of the road.
it's gonna be a little more than that, it's probably gonna be like 60, probably, yeah. I can go out and measure it, find out exactly what we need and how far it is away. Like I said, I know one landowner, these guys aren't gonna be following so it's bridge, but, I don't really know. I'm not sure. It shouldn't be a problem, but you know, it is.
How bad is that bridge? Is that one?
This is the one that is shut down to one lane, down like, so it's gonna be replaced, so.
Be nice to have them on board, yeah.
Do you need me for anything on, this other document? Pat, do you need anything on this?
No.
How many signs, do you need any signed copies?
What?
One?
This is my copy, or do you need that back?
You make that, right?
I'll put it in the file.
Matt, we've got settlement agreement, release of claims on Builders Trust. Any highlights or anything?
I think it's what we've agreed to, the, paragraph, page 3, paragraph 2, is, really what we've agreed to, that is to notify them before we do the survey, so they can go on site, spring survey, to pay the 1141 and to name the bridge. I talked with Matt about that language, about providing marker on the bridge, because I was thinking the sign before the bridge, which wouldn't be on it, but he says the name will be cast on the pillars, I guess, so.
That's how they did the one down south. Washington.
Okay.
They had a dedicated day.
The rest of it looks just like what we've agreed to.
What's happening? Pardon me.
Just waiting on you to buy us dinner.
What do you want?
We already have that, so.
After the dinner.
Yeah,
Like steak.
Yeah, we had fun that good.
How's the week looking? Are we close?
Not even a hailstorm.
This ain't Nebraska.
Just one state up. He hasn't stopped by. I guess you're still on for.
That's the trustee general warranty deed, that's just the.
I prepared that deed, yeah, that's what we want.
Okay.
This was a mishmash of what I had prepared. There were a couple changes to it.
So it's not actually a resolution, we just need two separate motions?
I think just one.
Okay.
How significant, page 3, there are 2.
Where it says sale instead of sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't think that's ambiguous.
Don't want to be too technical, but we've been dealing with a technical situation, so I just want to make sure. So are we just gonna need one, do we need just authorize chairman to sign, that's not all we need?
Yes.
Yeah, just one motion for both the settlement agreement
So,
and trustee general warranty deed.
Well, the deed is, they will sign that deed to us. So
that's
Okay.
It's just so that,
that's just a copy of it.
yeah.
So I guess we just need one motion for the settlement
Mr.
agreement.
Chairman, I would move we authorize the chairman to sign the settlement agreement and release all claims between the Campbell Trust and the Board of Trustee of the Elder Scrolls Trust and the Board of County Commissioners.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Further discussion? Carried 3-0. Make copies to
Just one. I'll take it. Yeah, you want a copy? I believe the last black was blood.
And then you get that back to, I didn't use this line from my side, did I? Thanks. Rolling for Chase, and then we'll let in a local.
When you get to deal with 5 different counties, you get quite a few different ideas. And transitioning into a new organization after piggybacking on the multi-county health department, why this has been quite the task. But in any event, we finally, after some counties have signed 2 of these, and finally the third one is going to be the one that we will put into effect. I think everybody's in consensus and agreement that the one that interlocal agreement that you're seeing now will serve the best needs and protect the multi-county health department and the counties themselves from any liability from any KES. And with that, Pat, do we need to rescind
We need to, yeah.
the old interlocal agreement and then approve
I didn't read that language. Does it repeal the other one? If it doesn't, then that should be done separately.
no, all they did is went in and there was 2 changes that I recommended which we had incorporated in the other, and then Brown County found 2 more. And 4 of the 5 counties said that was agreeable to them. It had to do with how it would be financed and then the makeup of the board. And, no, it doesn't say anything here about that this will take precedence over that. So I think, if I recall, the last one was passed on May the 20th. So I think, I would make the motion that we would rescind the interlocal agreement between the 5 various counties and any KES that was passed on May the 20th.
That's a resolution.
Well, that's a resolution, we'll do both, there's an interlocal and a resolution we gotta do. I guess we could rescind them both at one time, couldn't we, Pat?
You could?
Okay. So I'd include in that we rescind the resolution 2014-1392 and the interlocal agreement, and those both were signed, I think, on May 20th by this commission.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Further discussion? Carried 3-0.
Okay, and also before you is the new resolution that just, we'll need a new number, I think, so that was the same, I'm guessing on that, I think we need a new resolution.
There should be a sticky.
1394.
13, okay, I thought that, because I thought we had passed one here the other day, so 1394.
No, he said 1392.
The present interlocal agreement you had in your packet then will be will have necessary changes that everyone is agreed on. I think we will be the last county as I think that will be signed on, so I would move that we would, maybe I should add that. Should we do the resolution first or the interlocal, or doesn't matter? I don't think it matters. Okay. I would move that we would pass the interlocal agreement as presented in your packet,
Second, Mr. Chairman.
and authorize the chairman, because we just need the chairman's signature, so.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we pass County Resolution 2014-1394, that relates to the formation of the CDKS and our involvement, so.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. I'm guessing we probably have to sign these 2 copies of the, yeah, the resolution needs all 3 signatures, the chairman needs to sign it.
Good estimated time.
I looked at them, they're all pretty much junk, salvage, so, they haven't been any use to the property, so I haven't, if I could tell how it was.
Okay.
Copy the resolution.
Oh, I already did it. Yeah, yes, the test code. Is it the details in the phone?
That, this last one is the, all, bills that we sent out for that last page is current bills
did you guys look up, I mean, I looked at this, we didn't pay full for December, is there a deadline on the?
I know-
I remember specifically, I think that on that assessment fee,
The solid waste fee there was, there's not one on this.
on tipping fees or anything.
The solid waste fee there.
So, okay, then we're a little premature, I just wanna make sure we didn't miss the deadline and stuff, so.
Well, it would be good to,
Because this
Do it
was
now.
done after all the local agreements and stuff, I think that, knowing that, you know, it gives you a little latitude in terms of, once the new interlocal agreements are signed, then we can establish. So if we're not bound, I mean, by a deadline on that, then I do remember specifically on the assessment that we had to do that you had to do it each year.
End of June.
End of June.
I think it would be a good idea for us to just get it out of the way just for budgeting purposes, for us, and everybody else as well.
But we're assuming here some things here, I mean, are we gonna leave it the same then, or?
I think solid waste can make sure our review.
I would like to see it before, yeah. Means we don't have, I will not push the issue knowing that if we've got, little time, that they're gonna review this and make any recommendations, stuff. And I think it's basically probably what we're gonna be looking at, but, there's no use of us to hastily pass this resolution, we have to go back and rescind it, so. Now that, you know, that I'm corrected, that we don't have to have it done by first of July, so.
Now, there is one thing we probably do need to get, clarification on, and that's, we got, Mr. Dwyer and Derek Frank, I think up here as well, on, some of the subjects, but, residential solid waste, and specific instances, when solid waste is left behind by, a resident, and it's hauled to the transfer station, we need some, official wording, we need some official clarification. It was brought up to solid waste committee, it was suggested that, we track it and see how much it actually generates, but at the time, if it didn't exceed 1,000 pounds, per month threshold, and it originated from residents, depending on who would haul it out, that there would not be a charge. Now, according to this, I think this is transaction listings, that's what we're talking about in question. If a person was hauling out there now, out of a residence, they're being treated as a commercial, is that correct? That's how they're getting charged?
Person as resident or person as member of a company bringing out
Correct.
private waste trash, was the question.
A member of a company, but if
it's a member of a
person
company,
that owns the
somebody else.
residence and they're hauling out stuff from a residence, that's being charged as commercial?
Well, is it the trash that they generate at their own primary residence? Because we're talking about two separate things. If a business is hauling out trash, then it's not residential trash, it's commercial, it's a byproduct of a commercial private company. So that is being charged as private, or what's the word, private hauler, private business trash. And it is being charged as an aggregate basis. there's ambiguity in the resolution because for the first year, we needed to basically provide a loose framework that we can work in, and then we're at the 6-month mark. If we want to define things a little bit more, then this is when we do it, because the question we have is what is residential trash and what is commercial trash? Because I have another instance that also, I told somebody that I would bring up. If somebody is bringing their personal trash in a company vehicle, how do we treat that? Because we really can't verify whether or not it's their trash or it's their company's trash. If somebody says it's their trash, their personal, from their personal residence, there's really no way to verify that. We just have to take somebody at their word, because we don't have a minimum charge. There is that sales tax that gives everyone, but it's
When somebody hauls a load of trash out there, how do you disseminate it? Do you put it to the residents? Like when they come across a scale, where is, you ask?
we start with a series of questions. You're supposed to ask, is this for an account, or is this personal trash? And 90% of the time, it's a couple bags, it's somebody saying, it's personal trash, this is from my house. We just let it go on through, and then the floor operators will make sure they have Atchison County tags, or can produce some kind of Atchison County address before they dump. So if it's for an account, then we just pull up the account, and if we have a pre-saved weight, then we'll use that, and they can just go on through, or we don't. They dump and come back to get an empty weight. So, because we have the sales tax that every Atchison County resident pays into, we have that 1,000-pound limit. And the 1,000-pound limit is, it has some gray area on, usage. If we could get rid of it and just have what every other county has, where you pay, a couple bucks every time you come here, that way everybody gets charged uniformly, it's not arbitrary like it is now. But we can't do that until we do some of the sales tax, so this is what we're left with. And these are, after 6 months, this is one of the big questions that has come as a result. So I don't know if you want to add anything.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. The intention of the Solid Waste Committee has always been that this be per address, because each address was assigned an assessment of $61, correct, at the original.
Correct.
Then that was dropped. With the sales tax, as he said, that we felt to suggest to you that the sales tax paid by every resident was somehow contributing, and that's how 1,000 pounds came up. There was never, with as many properties as Dave owns, or myself owns, or the rest of the landlords own, we are not commercial haulers. Our commercial haulers that used to haul that stuff refuses to do so now, unless it's in a 95 square foot container. That's their choice. So that comes back to the address ownee, which would be us, that has been assessed this particular tax that we paid without being able to collect it, to remove belongings that don't belong to me or him or whoever the landowner is. So that's where that 1,000 pounds comes in. Now, what was said at the last Solid Waste Committee was, let's monitor it, let's not assess it at this time. That was my understanding, and we were going to monitor it for 3 or 4 months and see what happens. There was never ever an issue not to pay it over 1,000 pounds, because you're allowed 1,000 pounds. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be someone that's going to abuse this. What are we talking about here? 1%? I'm looking at a total charge here over, I'm going to assume this is a 3-month period. Is this correct?
That's from January 6th till today.
January 6th till today.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing to me. We're up here talking about something for $152 compared to the total expense of the solid waste collection department that we have out here, and we're up here wasting our time over $152. This is truly a waste of your time, my time, his time, his time. Now, if he has to pay on the first charge here at 1,220 pounds, he has to pay a charge over that, he's willing to pay that. But and the 780 and the 1,260, he's willing to pay that. I don't think that's the question here. I'm saying we are not commercial haulers. Landowners are not commercial haulers. We can't set it out on the curb and expect our mandated city commercial hauler to pick it up, because they ain't gonna do it anymore. We've been told that. That's fine. Fellas, the whole overall picture on this is, there's no one abusing the system that I know of. There might be one or two. You're gonna catch them. If they have to bring it in there in a company-owned truck, that might be the only truck they have. Why are we grilling these people over something that's, what the hell are we talking about here?
Well,
Abuse? I mean, if they're bringing in a dump truck, I'd understand it. But they ain't bringing in a dump truck. This is pickup full of stuff. Weigh them in. If they're over 1,000 pounds, bill them. What are we talking about? You're making your job really difficult here.
well, we need to apply the same rules to everybody.
The same
And
rules
so-
do apply to everybody.
Well, with
Is it
commercial,
per address? Is it per address?
that was never part of the resolution.
That was the intent, just because it's not written in the resolution, that was the intent of
You guys should all address your comments to the chair, to the.
It was always the intent of the solid waste committee, as the assessments were assigned to the address, so are the collections and the disposal of it assigned to the address. Right?
Correct.
That should have been, now, because it wasn't written in the resolution, I don't write resolutions. That's his job. His job is to interpret it, I guess. So, if that's true, let's make an addendum to the resolution, get it passed, so we can move on. This is ridiculous, wasting your time. Is it that easy, Pat? I'm not addressing it, but is it that easy? I'm not addressing the board up here.
Your decision, yes.
If we want to do it per residence, we're gonna have to get some method of, like a punch card or keep tallies per residence if we are gonna administer it, at a 1,000 pounds per residence basis for 1 month or in one haul. Articulate that a little bit.
But when somebody comes in from the transfer station, they're gonna tell you this is the address that it's coming from, and it's either gonna be based on, if it's truly an intent based on per residence, then it would stay with that residence. Whether if you're having a packer, that's a whole different story, because they're gonna be hauling from possibly 20 or 30 different addresses, yeah. Which they are a true commercial hauler at that point.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
How many instances do you have of that? You can ask him, since I'm not allowed to ask him. Once you ask him, how many times has that happened?
Somebody picking up multiple people's
Yeah.
trash or belongings.
As a commercial hauler that you don't already know it's a commercial hauler.
You get a couple of people clearing out their house and their grandma's house. So that'll be on a Saturday typically, and it's maybe one or two, but they're always the ones that bring out the trailers.
Okay. And you weigh them, and you charge them.
And we weigh them and we charge them.
Over 1,000 pounds, they pay over 1,000, the amount over 1,000 pounds?
If it's under 1,000 pounds, this is also the tricky part, is if they bring in, say, 700 pounds. But we ask them, is this going to be, or is this, when we ask our initial question, is this for a resident, or kind of get an idea of what is somebody bringing out, because we need to know what they're bringing out. And if they say, oh, well, I'm cleaning out a house, then you ask them, is this going to be your only load, or are you going to have multiple loads? Because if you bring in 4 loads of 800 pounds, well, you brought in 3,200 pounds.
I agree.
So, as we have outlined it in our operations plan, it's per 1,000 pounds in a single load, or over 2 days worth of hauling. So if
Okay.
somebody's clearing out something,
So a Saturday, Friday, Saturday, clean out grandma's house, so you can keep track of that.
yes.
So what are we talking about here?
What we're talking about here.
Well, for one, let me back up. There is absolutely no need with that high-dollar computer program we have out there to have to issue punch cards and everything like that. That is totally ridiculous. Totally manpower eating up time. That is totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. If you can keep track of those slips as they come in, tell me about the violators. I mean, we're talking about, we're putting up hypothesis here. We're thinking that it may happen. Why are we trying to stomp out a fire that hasn't even been lit?
Well, we're not talking about somebody that's trying to game the system or get around it. What we're talking about is, what is a commercial hauler? Because.
Okay,
a
define it.
a
Define it, Jeff. Define it.
A commercial hauler would be a multi-factor taking from multiple residents at one time. So that would be like a Martin's, a Deffenbaugh. That would be a true commercial hauler. They're picking up.
How are you a commercial hauler?
I didn't think I was.
Businesses that bring out their trash as part of their business do get a separate account, and those are charged on a business, this is what they bring out. So if somebody brings out 400 pounds and it's from a co-op or something, they have an account, it's brought up, we charge it to that account, and because it's, the commercial aspect doesn't, the 1,000 pounds doesn't really apply to the commercial aspect.
But those
Absolutely.
businesses are hauling from their business. This is hauling from the residents.
See, that's the question, is, okay, this.
Here's my perception where I go through.
Mhm.
I go through your gate many times.
Yep.
And so do some of my employees. From my perception, if it's over 1,000 pounds, I'll pay it. I don't care. I'm not gonna make 6 trips doing 800 pounds. I don't got time. For diesel, for my truck to come out there, isn't worth my time to make 3 trips. I'm gonna pay more than diesel to go out there and back,
Mhm.
than for me just to pay it.
Right.
So I don't have a scale, it's not worth my time to do anything like that. If someone else wants to waste a bunch of time, they're able to do that. From my perception, individual address, each resident makes trash by going out to Walmart and leaving it behind. I get the great opportunity to pick it up later because they're not doing their job. But they were already assessed that money either at the register or through the property taxes we're already paying. So it's per address. But secondly, when you go through your gate, you don't always ask, who's it coming from? When you got 4 or 5 bags of trash, that same person can come back in 10 minutes and do it again. You have no way of knowing because you don't track it. You only track people that you know or are in a company vehicle. Everybody else who's in a white pickup truck or a green pickup truck, you don't ask, you don't keep up with. They could have done it 4 times and you don't know.
It is protocol to ask every single person.
I'm telling you,
Now,
this
if-
last week, I had someone come out there 4 times in a truck and they were not asked all 4 times.
And it was, as you mentioned, non-marked vehicle. Was
So,
it
what
their
you're saying-
personal vehicle, or was it?
It's my personal vehicle that they came out in, and 4 times that person came out this last week, and they weren't asked. 4 times. If you want to say that, you're wrong. I'm telling you,
Well,
4 times.
That's the protocol. If
So
I'm
if-
asking it,
if
then that's fine,
If
but.
it's not happening to me, I know it's not happening to hundreds of other people.
Right.
When I come out in my van, you're already tagged.
Mhm.
But when someone goes out in another vehicle, they can go out 4 or 5 times a week, and you never ask them. I'm telling you, it's happening. I told you the other day it was happening.
And I addressed it with the operator. And from now on, it's what we've outlined as protocol. Whether it happens or not, that's, I'll take the blame for that as not managing.
Again, Monday it happened, and they didn't get asked.
Let's stay at what we're
So
trying
I'm,
to do on this
so I'm just
resolution.
from my viewpoint.
You can correct whatever
I'm
those
just saying from
fallacies are
my
with your
viewpoint,
staff.
you can't
Let's
keep
stay.
up with all the small, little people coming in and out. It's not gonna be tracked very well.
What questions do we have?
Well, is this the amount in question is the $4,200? I mean, is that, there's.
252.
Yeah, 7 loads here, Mr. Right?
Mhm.
Okay, there's only 3 of them that are over, right?
Right.
So the overture of the 1,000 amounts to 4,260.
Mhm.
Is that correct? If you're willing to, if you're looking at the amount over.
You mean the under?
So the, I'm in that little solid one, says net weight. The one load is 2220, so that's 1,220 pounds over. There's another one, 1780, that's 780 pounds over, and another load is 2260, so that's 1260 over. My calculator did line to me, said that's 4,240 pounds.
Yeah, those are not the disputed weights, those are clearly over 1,000.
But that's what I'm saying is, that's over that, but anything under that is request rebate, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
The 1,000 pounds per address, anything above,
And
pay without a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And Derek, your assessment is right, I mean, the assessment was based on residences, so things
No,
are
they're
not
not,
here.
they're not complaining about
Right.
Yeah. And
anything over.
I understand a little bit where they're coming from, times it's cautious, but I think it's something, one of these fine-tune things that we need to get controlled now. And it doesn't, as of right now, it doesn't appear to be that.
That's okay. It's something that can be corrected, but we're in a great time right now to correct it retro back to the first of the year, instead of when we had the assessments and we couldn't do anything. So, all I'm saying or asking is if you could direct, Council Pat Henderson to come up with an addendum to put onto this thing to where it's more per address, however you have to rule that. As far as your definition of commercial haulers, just because we're landlords does not make us commercial haulers. We are not commercial haulers. You have to have special licensing to be commercial haulers, I would assume. But I'm not interested in being a commercial hauler. He doesn't want to be a commercial hauler. All we want to do is have a quality rental property for our community and adhere to the advantage to having a solid waste dumping station that we can utilize at what we've already paid for. Don't mind paying the extra when we have to, but that's what it is.
Pat, I don't think we necessarily need to hold a resolution.
I wouldn't think so. I didn't get a copy of I got a copy of the resolution. Was there a sheet that?
The weights and charges?
Chase, what if someone would come out there with 2,220 pounds and they say this is coming from 3 residents?
It doesn't matter. We really can't, it does not matter, that's a tonnage that was brought out.
And I agree with that. If he wants to go buy 3 houses and pick up 3 loads, and he's gonna pay the extra, or I wanna pay extra, or whoever it may be, that's the price you're gonna
I
pay.
think he pointed out, it's an economic.
It's an economic thing. I don't mind paying another $30, so time is worth money.
Cost versus benefit.
Absolutely. So if he needs a definition on commercial hauler, give him a definition, so he can go with that.
When we also do have over 40 commercial accounts. Now, commercial hauler not as they are in the solid waste business. They are a private company that brings out company trash. If we apply, do we differentiate a residentially oriented business, or do we just do away with charging anybody under that?
I think we're talking about originating from a residence. I don't know where we're getting into the commercial.
Because, hence the need for the definition. They're incorporated as a business. Let's change commercial to business. They're a business. So do we differentiate a residentially oriented business and everyone else, or as right now, everybody's a business? So they get charged per whatever they bring out.
Give me an example.
Of somebody other than a hauler?
Yeah.
Let's go with, ag risk, any kind of, or private contractor.
Give me a name.
Private contractor?
Well, we already know Death and Baugh and Martin.
No, I mean like general contracting, like housework, or
Yeah, we're
remodel.
not, yeah, but
Those
I think you're just proving a point here, but that's construction trash, that isn't residential trash, that's C&D.
Not necessarily.
We have Nell Hills that brings out quite a bit of stuff.
Okay, and we pay, as businesses, don't we still pay an assessment?
No.
We don't pay assessment as businesses anymore? Oh, good.
The assessments were.
Are they bringing out over 1,000 pounds?
Well, they have once or twice, but typically what they do is bring out their large van and they offload and we
Yeah.
charge them for whatever they bring out.
That's not a residence though, that comes from the business, right?
Right, and that's the original, you're a residential business. I mean,
No, we're residential,
it's
period.
it's still a business, but the byproduct, you have trash that's left over from a previous tenant, it's their trash. If they were to bring it out, we would not be talking about anything right
They
now.
don't own a pickup truck, so they're using his. I mean, we can complicate this all you want. If business is business, residential is residential. Sadly, we have a business dealing with residential. It's their trash. It's gotta be disposed of. We've already lost all the rent that they didn't pay us anyway.
Then my next question is, if we're gonna define an exemption for a residentially oriented business, we have to define, okay, are there a set number of, what meets the criteria? If it's one person that owns another property other than their own property, do they qualify as a residential business? Because now we're making it awfully hard to charge.
I think we're getting too complicated. If it originates from a residence, I think if we can just do something as simple as if trash is originating from a residence, you know, under 1,000 pounds, there's no charge. If it's exceeding 1,000 pounds, then there'd be a charge as listed on the resolution.
If it accumulates more than 1,000 pounds over a few days, then you're gonna pay that.
I don't think maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, but I don't wanna make it too complicated.
I can see we're trying to be exact. If we're talking thousands of dollars here, we're talking a different thing here and stuff. But at the same token, if we change it, I would want to make sure we monitor it and make sure we don't think it's getting abused in, too much every way. Not that, I mean, we have other things that
Yeah.
probably getting abused more than others, particularly dollars. I mean, I'm assuming the process that we'd have to do is they'd have to fill out an abatement request or something, and then we'd have to sign off on it, and it'd have to go down to the treasurer's office. Is that correct, Pat?
Boy, that seems more complicated than I would think it need to be. Somebody said we're arguing about $150. I think you're arguing about $40, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because, doesn't everybody agree the 2320 you want to pay it?
The 152 is just the total charge
Yeah,
to all.
I think you're close to
I believe,
Yeah,
right?
but about 110 of this isn't disputed, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
Is this your specific ones?
I don't know.
Yes, that's Dwyer Apartments account, account number 66.
Okay.
Mine comes up differently, so I didn't know.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily need a resolution to rescind a resolution.
No, I don't think
you
you're,
can just do
you're
the
doing that, I
rescind
think you're
amendment.
just interpreting what you've already done.
So we wouldn't have to necessarily go through an abatement process?
I wouldn't think so. I think it's just a matter of interpretation. And you said residence, and I think single-family residence, right?
Sure, I mean, if it's a duplex, it's one side of the residence, I mean,
We're not talking
hopefully.
about apartment complexes.
No,
Yeah, just.
no, that's a business, I'll go along with that, but,
Like I said, if we define somebody as a business, they get an account, they get charged for whatever they bring in. So,
but if an individual, if I brought my stuff out of my house and it was over 1,000 pounds, I'd still have to pay the
Right.
fee.
The difference,
So,
the difference, yeah.
so, there's no difference. There's no difference. If you're residential, you're residential.
if you're, I will agree with that, if you're a resident.
If you're residential, you're residential. So it doesn't matter if it's Derek Franklin, 701 Y Street, or if it's Derek Franklin, 714 Y Street, I'm still residential. I still own that house too.
I see that, yeah, I can feel a little bit of the downside, but your basic principle is right. If you're hauling residential trash, it's residential trash. Yes, you are a business.
If I'm remodeling that house, and I haul out construction waste, now I'm a contractor.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's.
Absolutely. How big is the fraud problem here? We're not talking about enormous amount of fraud.
We're also not talking about fraud, we're just defining something. If, and again, we're talking about $40, really, is what's under protest. And if I need to make changes for his account, then I need to make changes for a lot of different accounts. It's not just gonna be applied to one person, it has to be uniformly applied.
Absolutely, I don't have a problem with that.
And so if we're gonna make a definition, then you also have to do a better, who gets this consideration, who gets this abatement?
What we can do is, you know, we can do an updated resolution once we present budget to solid waste committee. I suggest we just revise it like you should every year, revise something like that. We're gonna revise the language even further, but I think right now we just need probably a simple vote and amendment, I believe. Is that correct, Pat?
No, he just said, he's a big enough latitude to make the
Do that.
discretion.
Okay.
I don't think you need to pass a new tipping fee after changing the village.
No.
That has nothing to do with that.
Let's see.
If you wanted to make that a little more clear,
A little more clear.
we could do that. I can come up with some language to make it a little.
If there is any language change that you do want, so the solid waste committee doesn't have to be in the resolution, addendum business. Could you write something out with an explanation of what we would wanna do?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's
Revisions.
I don't wanna be in the
No, I
interpretation,
think
writing business, then we spend a whole hour talking about verbiage. And these 12 people that volunteered to do that are not there for that. Fair enough? We done here?
So we're,
I got some trash to haul or something. Did you guys vote, 'cause I closed my eyes there a second, apparently.
Did you want me to prepare an amended resolution?
Yeah, hold on a second, I would suggest we probably have a motion to interpret the residential as such, determine.
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
So what do you, how do you interpret,
So a true resident per you know, if it's originating from residence and it's below the 1,000 pounds, there's still no charge. If it exceeds 1,000 pounds.
anything over 1,000?
Correct.
As long as
This is the official interpretation.
it's gotta be residential
Correct.
based trash, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah, I second.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Carried 3-0.
Thank you, guys.
So we don't need to change the resolution there.
I think you just revised that for 2000, for,
I don't think
because,
there's not anything in there, it's just an interpretation thing, and it's.
so just putting in like a sentence or two that says,
Yeah.
trash originating.
so
from
just
your
revise it
residence.
for 14, I think would probably be,
I think it's something, just clarification for you and your staff, as far as that goes. I mean, there's a degree of, in all honesty, there's a degree of, yeah, they are a residential business company, but they are hauling out, trash from residents, so, I mean, that's one of these little things that, and I'm glad it's not a major thing.
yeah,
I mean, it's nothing
it's up
compared,
there, yeah.
it's not compared to what we went through last year.
No, it's not.
No,
I just think that's a,
But did you really pass anything to make it retroactive, or is it from here on, so?
I assume it'll be,
retroactive.
I'll just,
Is that going to entail issuing a bunch of refunds?
yes.
Approximately how many?
That I can't say without, I'm assuming this will apply to 5 to 10 businesses under this new definition, and then we'd have to go back through what we've charged them since January 6th and determine any charges that don't meet the chargeable criteria, and then issue refunds.
So you say there's 6 or 10 people that have a business that have a rental property?
That come in as a business, as, you know, they have either somebody hauls their trash out for them, or they'll bring out a trailer, and it's for their account. They have an account set up, so. See, that's what qualifies as a residentially oriented business, somebody that owns more than 4 properties, and 5 properties, because it could end up being a very large list, and we could be refunding a sizable amount of money. So,
Yeah, but I would assume this is probably the larger ones, and this is $152 over
And
six
Yeah, refund
months.
$150.
no, we're refunding $40.
Well, yeah,
And
right.
I guess, for the record, I don't think that,
You don't agree with our decision?
well, it just, we're adding another caveat to something that, because we don't charge on if you come out, regardless of how much or how little you bring, you get a charge. There's a lot of interpretation, there's a lot of, I mean, we have our list of questions, and we also have to take people on their word. And at the same time, we do need to capture revenue. I mean, we do need to pay for a service that is being used. And, you know, businesses, they don't actually pay sales tax. They just turn over what comes from a transaction from a private person. They don't.
There are probably a few items they pay some sales tax on, but as far as the proportion of the amount of trash, I understand that was the whole point of implementing the tipping fee. Of course, that was even from the solid waste study was a point that was brought out as far as that goes. It wasn't necessarily a single business. They're still getting a good deal. I mean, I don't think anybody argued, they're still getting a pretty good deal on the deal. Because sales tax supplements such a high majority of it, so.
Right.
Regarding, you know, so, yeah, that's, yeah.
Well,
You're probably right, $40, I mean, it's almost mute. I think we need to continue to track it and see what this going to amount to in terms of how much refund it will amount to, and as we go forward and implement policies and procedures and stuff, or what we want to include in the resolution and stuff, because there's probably business trash showing up in residential trash, so.
yeah, well, at this point, we do have to rely on people's honesty. If they say it's from their house, I can't go in there and rip it open and, you know, it's paper. Basically, I have to take their word for it, and.
I mean, I've just talked to a lot of people, I mean, they're using somebody else's truck, you know, I mean,
Well, then you get people that, I mean, we don't send a bill to the person that contracted the work, we send the bill to the contractor, because they brought out the trash. It's, you know, they've had enough, we're 6 months in, nobody should be caught unprepared for submitting bids that don't include allowance for the tipping fee, the disposal of any trash generated. But you will occasionally get somebody that is hauling somebody's stuff because they have a truck and they have a trailer, and they didn't know that they're gonna get the bill for hauling somebody else's stuff. Again, that's, by simplifying, if you bring it out, it's your trash, you get charged. Having, you know, qualifiers or exemptions, it's not a large amount, but, you know, it just takes something that was relatively simple and makes it a little less simple. And, you know.
well, I think we knew the transition into some different things, that there's gonna be these little things, there's always that little exemption out there that people either think they want or think they're qualified for, and there's probably a lot of legitimacy in everybody's point, but I see that, but, you know, I guess my personal opinion, I probably wouldn't have fought over $40 and stuff, but, you know, that's whatever.
Okay.
Okay. the office, which dollars is not should be charged, so it's a hundred and something. Is that right?
Yeah, it's 110.
Yeah, I gotta get
Hmm.
the wire right now, it would be 110, yeah, 112, something like that.
Should've just looked at this, I have all the accounts here, should've looked at that.
Yeah, but 66 doesn't match up with them, does it?
Well, this, he has, DeWare Apartments, and he also has DeWare Construction. And this is our CIC, this is the building software. That amount that I presented was from the scale software.
Oh, okay.
But he has both sent to the same residence, so CIC just, combine it into one account. So it's just, DeWare, or DeWare Apartments.
Yeah, which is, I mean, this state is even like on construction side, if they went in and fixed up a house, that's a whole separate, they know that would be charged, but that's,
Yeah, we just keep it, once we get agreements made, and local agreements, then we'll have to do another resolution to establish,
Mm.
or is that required to renew that resolution each year if you don't make it, I guess if you make some changes, you have to,
Typically, no.
if we revise some of the wording or something like that,
we'll have to revise it.
Work change the amounts.
Change it.
Correct. Just pass a new resolution, something you want.
Yeah. Okay.
I can send you a suggestion on the wording if you want.
We've got, this one, that's the pioneer authorization, it's just a quarterly maintenance, on the bonds for both, ballparks. The second quarter. Who wants to lose them? I don't think
But
it's a big deal.
It's not that big a deal, but it was brought up, so I had to do it. This is just, to authorize, transferring $12,000 for, funds, that is.
Yeah, that's the sales tax that's collected to pay those bonds, so the revenue from that there's, maintenance payments are set up, I think, for the first 10 years, I believe.
It's equivalent to
Or 17 or something.
I would move that we would authorize the chairman to sign the management operating, reserve fund written request in the amount of $12,500 to USD 377 ASAM.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Certification for property valuation. What Jim certified? Like total subsidy payments a little around 14.
Utilities and property tax.
No, yeah, that's just strictly gonna be, what he does. I'll be getting that pretty soon, a little middle. Oh, Jim, having those utilities and, what do you say anymore? Verbal.
Yeah, this will agree with us.
just that alone is about $4 million increase. So if personal property and utilities don't change too much, you know, $4 million, which would be, convert to what, about 3% increase in valuation.
Yeah, we need to find out when the utilities and personal property, we need to know that fairly soon.
Rely on the state for that. And we know what that's like, getting information from them sometimes. Have you received anything from Riverside yet?
No, I did try to call him on Friday, and got voicemail, I did not talk to him yesterday.
Okay. Yep, I'm in no hurry.
But we have not received the pay invoices.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, I'm in no hurry, he's in no hurry, I'm in no hurry. Unless you guys are in a hurry. Okay.
No. And he sent me an email last week, but I relayed it on to Pat, which I thought he said he'd given you everything, but I wasn't sure, so I just relayed it on to you.
Looks like that wouldn't take that long to get the bill.
Well, that's probably not.
And you said you talked to them.
Well, I met with him up here. I met with him once, and then I tried to call him on Friday, and they didn't give me an answer, but I didn't have time to talk to him yesterday.
Okay.
And he didn't call either. But, I do have two things for, really pretty brief, executive session, attorney-client privilege, really only, seriously, only 10 minutes maybe. Could be any time you can do it, at the end of the meeting.
Well, we don't really have anything,
Yeah, that's it.
Linda's ready to kick us out of here now.
She's cool.
Are they done yet? No. Okay, so we're in session.
Yeah, let's go 15, Mr. I move we go executive session for 15 minutes, attorney with the county counselor for attorney-client privilege information. And so we'll come out at about 2:32.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion is second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Oh, I agree. I know Shelley Nelson inquired about it, you know, she thought it'd be. So, yeah, I'll be fine, Bruce.
County Commissioners, I'm not gonna help you.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk to him? This is Gail.
Gail?
Yeah, this is Gail. Dennis wanted me to ask you on, our scooter, we used it around the lake, we did last year, but the battery's no good anymore. He was wanting to know, we use it around the lake to go visit campers and stuff to try to save on fuel. If you guys would buy half the battery, it would be, on your half, would be like $25 to $40. We've got to take the battery in to find out for sure how much.
Linda, when Pauline gets back, you might have her required to see when, we're with the utilities and personal property taxes for, our 2015 estimated valuations.
Okay.
We've got, assessed values from all other properties. We're saying utilities and then the personal property.
Okay.
I think I've seen where the, utilities should come out here at some point here in June, second or third week of June.
Personal property stuff is out. He sent it out, it's just a matter of how long it takes for people to send it back. You know, I can't remember when it comes on my property, there's a certain deadline, but you have to have it back in. If there's any changes, otherwise it would be.
Same as last year. Otherwise, it's the same as last year.
Yeah, if there's no change, you don't send it back in, but there was no change in mine, so I didn't read the fine print to see how soon you had to respond. I'm sure there'll be some people that have changes, either additions or corrections or whatever. I think that both, I think was people, some changes going on in that one,
Yeah.
because of the changes in the law of votes, so.
Yeah, in fact, like, in the counties of Jefferson and both counties were pretty much affected. That's what I was, a little concerned for. Not being, worse. That's not the lump sum. Linda, do you know if we have any budgets scheduled for next week's workshop? Do you want to calendar?
We probably should send something to Gail, I doubt that they got it, last year they just sent out a piece of tablet paper.
And the budget resolution for June 19th, on the level of
Can do that. Yeah, it'd be for, 24th, sorry. June 24th. I think that's everything else. Have we heard anything back from both these Kansas counties?
Somebody respond to it.
You know,
Nope.
we've met like twice. I haven't heard anything back from the water.
Your copy was, here's the copy of their SSN, we can get that.
You can go around that one. little freight truck that we.
We was waiting at him, he wouldn't even. We seen him down driving around town, looking at everybody.
That new truck, you went there, that whole new truck, they seen you driving around town.
Oh, well, I didn't see you.
Well, we just speed in their face, so.
Washed up and shiny.
It is.
There's no copy there, so.
Captain Wright, you have a call on 8201.
Did you have something?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna take care of it? I will. All right, thanks, man.
There anything else? Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn at, 2:41.
Motion second, all in favor, Steve, press again.